Good evening, guys, and happy Tuesday to all of your sunshiny faces. I felt like it was way later in the week because I keep thinking, oh, my dad's gonna be home, like his last day of work is tomorrow, and then he's gonna be home for like the whole weekend, like plus next week, the beginning of next week. He'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I think. And I was telling you guys too how it was because him and my mom were supposed to go on an anniversary trip, which they've been doing like every year now for the last probably 2 or 3 years. Like the first year they went somewhere kind of small-ish or like close by, and then I think it was 2 years ago they went away for like a while. Like I think it was like over a week vacation, or maybe not over a week, but it was like a week's vacation. But I think that was because that was like their 30th anniversary, I think, or something like that. And then they went last year. It was like a shorter, like maybe like a 4-day weekend or something like that, you know, like they left on Friday and they came home like, I don't know, maybe Sunday or something, or Monday night or whatever it was, or like Sunday night or like Monday or something. And so, or maybe they left on Thursday and like got back on Sunday. It was like kind of short-ish. But again, their plan was to go this year. However, my mom was not feeling good, and I actually didn't realize that they had a plan, like a trip planned. But like I didn't even know when it was coming up either, because normally their anniversary is in May. So I was thinking like, oh, if they're going again this year, it'll be like in May. I wasn't thinking like the beginning of April at all. So then all of a sudden they were like, oh yeah, we're not going on our trip this year. And I was like, why is that? And then they were like, oh yeah, because, you know, again, like I was telling you guys, my mom has not been feeling very well. So she said she's finally been feeling better, like the last probably 2 days, which has been good. So her and my dad's plan is to like do more like day trip type stuff and things like that. But they're not going like away or anything like that. They're going to be here. But the other big thing is that, again, when they're not kind of doing that stuff, we're planning on getting some of the project things done that we still need to get done that are not, you know, like now that we've had the floors redone and they repainted and everything like that, there's like still things from like the first room that they were working on that's still not done. There's still stuff even too from like upstairs that's not finished either. Like we haven't gotten the barn doors that we were planning on getting for like my parents, like my mom's office, like because again, you guys saw like I don't know, it was like 2 years ago, I think, when we finished, not 2, it'll be 2 years in like the fall maybe, but we rebuilt, or not rebuilt, but we completely pretty much almost demoed the entire upstairs. And like it's so funny because I feel like that's what it's called demoing. That's what we did. But I'm like, it was just a project that we did, like, you know, like, no, we literally demoed it. We literally took the drywall down, we stripped that thing down to the bare studs, and then we built everything back up. We you know, did new wiring on a lot of stuff too, and added new outlets and electric, and like, you know, we did a lot of stuff up there. And but I always keep calling, you know, when we worked on the upstairs, when we did the project, it was like, no, we put new subfloor in upstairs. Like we did a lot upstairs. Like the upstairs was completely practically, again, demoed and rebuilt. So like the only thing we didn't touch was the studs. Those were pretty much fine for the most part, except for the one that was near the window that did need to be, the bottom piece I think need to be reframed, because we realized the people that had lived here before us, when they replaced the window upstairs, they did not replace it properly. They actually replaced it from the inside. I guess you're supposed to replace windows when you put them in. They're supposed to be from the outside, and they didn't. They just did it like the easy thing, I guess, kind of, which was just, oh, just stick the window in from like upstairs instead of getting like a ladder up to the second floor, which is what you needed to do and stuff like that. And again, to do it properly, they didn't do it properly. They just, you know, they just stuck the window in up there and called it a day. And well, it was leaking inside of of the house, and we didn't realize until there was, we noticed the drywall was like really, really soft there, and that's when we realized that it was leaking in. And then we realized too that all of the wood underneath the window was also like all like rotted out, and like, you know, it was just the one piece of like the frame that was though, which was pretty good. It wasn't like there was like tons of damage, but that did have to be redone. So since we were tearing everything pretty much out anyway, we just decided, you know what, that's the perfect time to get that fixed. And that was one of the reasons too why we were kind of like, let's get it fixed anyway. So that was all done. And again too, there was other things, like there was a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily like, again, and we moved in the house 25 years ago, I think, 24 years ago. We moved in 2001. I was gonna say 2021. No, we moved in 2001. And again, there's been a lot of stuff that like we realized too, like they said they replaced the roof, and they did, but they didn't replace the flat roof upstairs, which also turned into a problem. But there wasn't any like damage to like the what's it called, like the rafters and like, you know, again, the wood up there and stuff like that. So thankfully that wasn't a problem. But again too, it's a lot of stuff that like you didn't notice until all of a sudden you start seeing that there's a leak. And again too, it's like you notice the stuff when it starts coming through in the drywall. So again, that was kind of again an issue, and that's why like we'd had all that stuff replaced though recently, but then the damage that was already done to the drywall needed to be addressed. And so that's why we were like too, it was another reason of like, let's just tear all this stuff out, since we were again too gonna rebuild kind of the upstairs and then put in the new walls and things like that. So well, that was done. We ended up, you know, like that was again not last summer, the summer before that. We worked on that for the most part, and we finished it by like the fall-ish. I think my parents were up there before Christmas of not this last year, but the year before that. So, I forgot where I was going with the whole thing. Oh, so, but there's still some little things that didn't really get completely finished upstairs. Like the barn door that was supposed to go between my mom's office and like the bedroom upstairs, it never got put in, like, so like that kind of stuff. The, again, in the sunroom, we finished that. We had them redo the floors last summer, and they redid that. We painted in there. All of the stuff is like, my mom has, you know, things hung up. Well, we never put in the trim. We still have to do the trim. The door frame trim around the sliding glass door is done, and the window trim is, but the trim around like the door, the closet door, the floor, my parents also wanted to do crown molding in there. All of that was not done, and it was not finished. So like we want to do that. That's one of the big projects that we're probably going to work on this week. But also too, it's getting warmer out, and while it actually was snowing yesterday, it's supposed to be really warm over this weekend. Like almost, I think, in the 70s. It's supposed to be like 60 something, I think, one day, and like high 50s and stuff like that still too for most, like I think a handful of the days. And a couple days I think might be in the 60s. But we're like, we also need to get some outside work done too, because like it's again gonna get into like spring, and then planting spring flowers and planting spring vegetable garden and you know, like all that kind of stuff. We're gonna have to do that as well. So there's again like outside work that might need to be done as well, but there's also the inside stuff like that we still need to kind of finish. Like my bedroom door needs to be painted, the inside of the door, but the plan was we were going to take it off the hinges and do that. So, and it hasn't been warm enough outside to actually do that yet. Like we're waiting for like several really good, really warm days, like probably in the 70s, I would think, because even when it gets cold, it's not going to be too cold. Like if it gets cold in the evening and stuff like that, it won't be too cold that, you know, we'll have to worry about like the paint peeling or, you know, stuff happening to it or whatever. So anyways though, that is the plan for kind of this week, since again my parents are going to not be going away, and again they'll be probably doing some other things, you know, and small stuff like that, but we can also do some things as well, and possibly small stuff like that too, and that way we can get some of the stuff done, like project things that we haven't completely finished yet. So Anyways, yeah, like I said, upstairs stuff still has to get done. Some of my bedroom stuff still has to get done. A little bit of Jack's, like the sunroom. We have living room and laundry room stuff that we're gonna like completely redo. The kitchen's kind of good for the most part. Actually, it's probably the best room that's like most finished. We might replace the outlets and like just the switches and like the like face plates and stuff like that. Since they painted, we might as well just update that a little bit. But other than that, like most of the stuff in the kitchen is almost pretty much good for the most part. That was pretty much the most, like I'd say, other than the flooring, which we replaced, but then we were like, oh, this is really bad tile, which is why we had them replace it again, just again this last week, when they finished that up. But like that was kind of the big thing, and other than that, like everything else is pretty much good in the kitchen. So anyways, long story short, there's still like little things that can be done kind of in every room, and there's bigger things in other rooms. But I am going to take a shower and get to bed. I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up.